said the only way you can get out of it, on the 18th month, if they don't sign the papers, it's null and void. You can now remove yourself. So, we had to wait 18 months. It was the hardest and longest wait of our lives. And you'd think that'd be the first impact of your life when they don't sign those papers and like that, because then I'm not here. I'm probably not even in the fitness industry. Because if that gym goes, I'm not at our gym in Coogee, which is, we've been there for 9 years. And the story doesn't, the story ends. I'm probably in a different industry, I don't know where I'd be. But it was the intention and the purpose of what we wanted to achieve. I'm kind of lucky. I grew up in the fitness industry watching my brother as a young kid, as a 10-year-old going to the gym, watching him compete. He's 10 years old and he's so disciplined and he's so focused and no one can try to deter him from where he's going. He doesn't care if you're going out, if you're drinking, what meal you're having. He's having exactly what he has to have. He owns his life. Now, I wanted to become that person, but I was lying to myself because I didn't own my life. I was looking at myself in the mirror, going, you know what, you got this. I had fucking nothing. That's the truth, right? But one thing I've done from 21, I was insane. And guys, if you want to be great, and the free speakers here today, they're fucking absolutely insane, because to be great at anything, you have to have fucking insanity. Because if you don't have it, you're kidding yourself. But you have to have sanity within that insanity. Because those that make and move the needle in their lives, they're pushing hard. They're pushing every single day, every single second. They're constantly aware of what their actions are and what they're doing. Even though I was going through that mayhem for 21 years, you've got to remember this, guys, I was 21 when I started the business. I was still a fucking kid. I'm 42 now. My life started at 40. That's the truth, right? And I was still working 7 days a week. I was busting my ass. I had no choice. There's no one to catch you and say, you know what, I'll help you out. No, I had to turn up. And I can thank my brother for that, because there's no fucking emotion at all. You're on the ground, you're on the fucking ground. Get the fuck back up. That's the truth. That's the truth, because you guys here are here on a Saturday. So when are you going to draw the line in your life and start taking ownership and not play the victim anymore? Because we all make excuses. We're constantly making excuses. We missed the meal, we missed the workout, we missed that business deal, we missed everything. Life happens for you guys. It doesn't happen to you. There were so many different impacts in my life. And I guess the biggest one for me was this year, right? I always get choked up with this moment, because I've done this talk many times, but it still gets me. In March, my dad passed away. And I tried to continue to work during that period. Bad idea. The reason it was a bad idea is because I had a couple of friends whose fathers passed away. They said, if you try and work through that, I've got a short fuse. I'm very intense. I don't show it in all my videos, but I'm very, very intense. And he said, just take a step back. And I didn't take a step back, and I blew up a couple of times. And then I took a step back. For those 7 weeks, my dad had pancreatic cancer, and we took care of it to the end. He went down to 50 kilos, and there was 2 pivotal points within that. I watched the whole process, watched it to the last second. Now, my dad helped build every single gym. The guy was a cleaner. He didn't speak much English at all, but fuck, he could work. He just pounded it out, grinded it out, chipped away. There was no one like him. He was doing dips, chin-ups, going for walks, until he was 77, or till the end. And the fucking fought so hard to the end. I'll never forget, my mate works at emergency at St. George Hospital. And he rang me one night. I was staying at my mum's house. And he said, how you feeling? It's 10:30 at night. I said, man, I'm fucking feeling the pain. I go, I want this pain to go right through me, through my veins, through my core, so it can change me forever. I wanted to feel that impact, I wanted to feel that pain. Now guys, without pain and suffering, there's no pleasure. So if you're getting in the gym and you're training your butt off, that's the pain. You've got to go through that pain to get the result at the end. But why did I have to go through that to make the next big impact? Why couldn't I do it earlier on? It's because I didn't know my life. My environment, people around me controlled me. I used to come to Vegas and I used to go out most nights. Pretty much every night, Kris, yeah?
Every night. And day.
And day. I'd actually consider days. This year when I've come to LA, Vegas, when I get up at 5 a.m, go to the gym, train twice a day, I had to change my whole life. When my dad passed away, I made this commitment that I was going to wake up at 4:30 every day, be in the gym by 5 a.m. When I go to my gym that I own, I actually help members. I actually get in there, I train with them, and I give them everything I possibly can, because at the end of the day, guys, it's all about giving. It's all about putting it out there, putting it on the line. And I'll never forget that moment as my mate's talking to me on the phone. He said, I just want you to take it easy, and I'm just pouring in tears, and it's 10:30 at night. And I can feel this change within me. There was one other point, it was about 3 weeks later. I'm trying to figure out what life was about. About 10:30 at night, I'm driving home from my mum's house around the same time again. The streets are quiet, and I'm trying to figure out what is it. And then as I'm driving, I can feel this stillness and this beauty, and I could see the stars, the moon shining, and it was just so still and it was so perfect. And that's what it's all about. It's finding that little place. And at that point, I felt like I owned my life. I didn't let anyone dictate what I wanted to do. Because at the end of the day, if I'm the captain of my life and I'm that ship moving forward, it's up to me what I decide to do with my life. And I'm lucky that I've got a brother that's fucking that discipline, that's like fucking OCD. I'm just gonna pick him out of here. Bro, he's never listening anyway. He thinks I'm full of shit, which is cool. You know, I had him on my podcast for the first time last week, and a couple of weeks ago, we both broke down. But when I was talking to my brother, so we never talk, and this is the beauty about this relationship. This guy's 52 years old, you know, and he's a freak at discipline. He's just unbelievably disciplined that he can make you feel like that you're inadequate in your decision if you're around him. And I asked him a question. I said to him, when did you start wanting to train? And he said to me, I don't know, he's got a TV guide. You remember that TV guide? He was 8 years old and he picked up a TV guide and he's seen a guy with abs. Now, this is in the 70s, guys. Most of you aren't even born, right? This is in the late 70s. This is when there's no internet, well, think about it, we came from a low economic, social sort of family area, so he had a TV guide, he's seen a guy with abs, and then he got straight to work. At 8 years old, he started doing push-ups and sit-ups in his bedroom, right, between commercials. Now, he was a scrawny little kid, during commercials, sorry, and he said that he loved being that underdog, and every day was day one in your life. Every day is day one. So today's day one. So it was about drawing the line in your life and going, who am I going to lose in my circle and in my environment that's holding me back? And this guy does it better than anyone. Like, no one dictates his life. And it's not about what you say, it's about the actions. And he's always been like that. And even when I talk to him, that kid will tell you this. We're in the car, I'm talking to him, he's in the car and he's talking, we're on hands free. And we don't say anything. We're just sitting there, not even talking. And our kids will go, why do you spend so much time on the phone not saying anything? It's because we get it. We get one another. And he knows, he doesn't have to say anything to me. If I don't do the right thing, he just gives me a look and that's it. There's nothing else. But, bro, I want to ask you a question. It's an easy one, man. And Kris said, man, can you get your brother up here? And I said, listen, you know my brother doesn't like doing shit like this, but I'm going to get him up.
He's a man of very few words, like you said. He's not just saying it because he's his brother, but he is a man of very few words, but he is a man of action.
When I asked you about discipline, right? Were you disciplined from a young age, or did you own your life from a young age where no one dictated what you wanted to do?
100%. If you want something, don't let anyone hold you back. Go after it and be with like-minded people. Otherwise, they're just going to be an hindrance to you guys and hold you back.
And the biggest thing that I've learned from you, bro, is like, you can have friends, right? And you just keep at a distance. Because at the end of the day, it's not about them, it's about you, because it's got to be about what makes you happy.
Yeah, do all the things that make you happy, and then you can fit those people into your life when you need them. Yeah. You're not using people, but at the end of the day, you come first. So look after yourself first, then you can fit other people into your life.
Guys, in your 20s, in your 30s, yeah, you can get away with a few things. But maybe when you get to your 50s, it starts fucking getting extremely hard. And I'm going to tell you now, guys, like, even though I was successful through different periods of my life, even when I didn't own it, now that I own it, it's not just about the success, because that's going to come, that's a byproduct. But it's about what I do every single day, where I control my life. So at the end of the day, I can look back at it and go, you know what? I control it today. I own my life. I don't make any more excuses. I'm not the victim. And that's what I want from all of you guys. Like, in a crowd like this, there's always one person that's going to come out of it and go, fuck, I'm going to listen to these four guys, because I can't wait to listen to these other three guys today, because they're absolutely amazing. I watch their videos. I love Kris. I love Jag. Well, Kris, what do you got? Kris Gethin, Kris Cavallini, and Jag. These guys are absolutely amazing guys. I'm honoured to be here. I just want to thank Kris, because he's one of my good mates, and we've been, talking on the phone. He's been such a great support through my through what I've gone through this year. And I just want to thank him here today, and I want to thank you all for coming today, because it takes a lot to get here at 7 a.m. on a fucking Saturday in Vegas. Thanks again, guys.
Let them know your podcast, because that's just a sample. That's just a sample of what Metz has got to share. If you listen and tune into his podcast, then you'll get a lot.
Yeah, the title must on my one, the one with me and my brother is up, and it's my favourite podcast for sure, because there's a lot of things I didn't know about my brother, because we fucking rarely talk, right? So I was asking him questions, and man, it was fucking intense. Like, honestly, it was by far my favourite podcast, and I can't wait to do one with both the Krises, because I love depth. I love going in deep. I'm very intense. A lot of the times I put this persona out, but man, I'm intense. I'm 7 days a week, 24/7. That's just how I am. It's in my blood, and I love it. I love it. So thanks again, guys. Appreciate it.
Where can they find your podcast?
If you go on the Titan Fitness website, you'll see everything on there. You'll see all the videos, you'll see the podcast, you can see the show notes. So if you just go into media, go into podcasts, you can see all the show notes of all the podcasts. But yeah, that was definitely my favourite. That was my final one that I done before I got here.
Okay, all right, cool. All right, thank you, guys. And you'll be able to, on that website, check out their gym. It is phenomenal. Like, I'm not saying this, it is by far the best gym in Australia, by far. Over several levels. Amazing view, right on Coogee Beach there. Absolutely phenomenal. And you'll see this guy, about at 4:30 in the morning, actually picking up little specks of paper or dirt, or if I'm there, crumbs.
That's what I'm known for.
All right, so thank you very much for that, guys. The next person that we're going to be bringing out, if you were here last year, you would have remembered Jag Chima. Jag Chima, as you may or may not know, has been a business partner, a very good friend of mine for many, many years. He was the person responsible of getting me into India back in 2010, and he's put up with me ever since. Thank you very much. So Jag Chima, everyone.
I'm slightly nervous today. I've done many talks around the world with Kris and others, but I'm slightly nervous today because these three guys are a huge inspiration for me, and sharing a platform with them is a great honor for me. So thank you guys, I really appreciate it, thank you. My name is Jack Chima, and I convert thoughts into things. That's also known as an entrepreneur. Now, I'm going to talk to you about mindset and how to convert your mindset into a winning mindset. But I need to know if you guys are with me on this first. So, how many of you have ever made an excuse for not achieving your goals? Okay, good. So this will be applicable to most. I was one of those people. Now, anyone can start, but not everyone can finish. That's the most important thing to remember. And you need to put yourself in a position where you can understand that, are my goals important to me? Do I want to achieve these goals, or are they not? I have a lot of goals in my life, and I used to make a lot of excuses for not being able to achieve those. Looking at other people and saying, well, that person's lucky. That person was born with money. This person's got an amazing network. I don't have that. And that's why I can justify not achieving my goals. Does that make sense? Yep. Have you ever seen other people doing well and thought, well, that's just luck. Yeah, this is lucky, they're in the right place and I can't do it. Well, that's bullshit. Because if you really want to achieve your goals, there's no excuses. I faced some real dark times in my life. In 2008, I had a very serious motorbike crash and I nearly lost everything, including my mobility. I became very dependent on the people around me. That taught me so much. That could have completely finished me off, but it didn't. That became my foundation to what I'm doing today. I used it as a source of inspiration. I also ensured that I used it as a building block so that I can motivate myself. I don't want to depend on others to motivate me during times when I feel low. And that's a very important thing because I didn't want it to be another excuse. Every time I set a goal, I want to make sure that I finish it. Everyone has the same number of hours each day. There's no such thing as luck. The harder you work, the luckier you get. You read these quotes, right? But what do they actually mean? Quotes don't mean anything unless you actually understand them and take action. And that's what I did. Now, I used to think that I have got it tough. The world owes me everything. But that's not true. The world was here before I was around. Nobody owes me anything. I wanted to do a lot more than I was doing at the time, 2008. I'm from a construction background, finance, we build houses, and I used to think that I'm the busiest person in the world. Today, I run multiple businesses in multiple countries, and I still find time for things that are important to me. Every single time that you come up with an excuse, just ask yourself, is this important to me? Say it. So, an example would be going to the gym. Now, I'm going to connect this talk to fitness, because fitness is what actually made me realize that anything is possible. So I used to start transformation programs, for example, and because of travels, I used to think, well, I'm traveling, I'm just too busy. I can't go to the gym, I can't keep up with the meals, and it's justified. So if I'm flying like 7 a.m. in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, and finishing up at 12 at midnight, there's no time to train, so it was justified. Until I sat back and thought, okay, is my health important to me? Yes. Should I go to the gym? Yes. So I decided that I am not going to let these travel or anything else become an excuse for me to achieve my fitness goals. And that's how I trained my mind for everything that I do. You can do the same thing. Kris knows my schedule really, really well. And I have very few hours in the day left after what I do for work to train.
He's in his own time zone, if you put it that way.
So over the years, I've managed to train my mind to overcome these limitations that I had set for myself. And I use it as an adventure. It's fantastic. What used to be an excuse for me and a barrier, a limitation for growth, is now actually something that excites me. When I travel, I think to myself, I wonder where I'm going to train today. And that actually becomes part of my journey. It's really exciting. I train sometimes 2 a.m. in the morning. I know that you need to get enough rest, you need to get enough sleep. Of course, we all know that. But I'd rather train and say, yeah, I did it. I didn't lose, I didn't give in, I didn't make that excuse. And in the same way, I do business in the same way. I had a vision in 2004 that I wanted to set up gyms in India. I didn't know Kris at that time, but I was far too busy with my construction business. Today, we have one of the fastest growing networks in India of gyms. We have the world's best facilities. Still doing construction, still have those businesses. I travel even more than I used to then, but nothing's impossible if you really want to do it. I've got to know Kris in 2010. Got talking, went to India. Now the network has grown big. We are planning to launch in the US and Canada next year, and the UK has already been secured. So this is how I train my mind. Overcoming excuses. Just got to repeat to yourself every single time you have an excuse, is this important to me? Are you with me?
Yep.
You guys look sad. I work on energies, right? So every time I speak, whether it's with my teams in India or if I do a public talk or anything like that, I always say that it's like driving a car. Without petrol, it won't work. So if you guys give energy to the people standing in front of you, you get it back. Thoughts are powerful. Trust me on that one. You will attract the energy that you give. It's true. Try it. So if you think that you're going to have a powerful day, you will. When you wake up in the morning, if you're 5 minutes late and you think, shit, I'm 5 minutes late, that negative thought is going to trigger off more negative thoughts. Then something else will happen. You're going to be half an hour late, and then you'll spill coffee over your clothes and something else will go wrong. You'll have a shit day. But it starts from when you open your eyes in the morning. As soon as you wake up and you think, right, I'm going to nail this. I'm going to have it. That's what I do. Every single day, I wake up in the morning and think, I ain't letting nobody hold me back from what I need to achieve today. I need to do better than yesterday. I need to be my own motivation. I set myself tasks periodically that help me to push my boundaries. I done a cycle ride in December last year. The reason why I done the cycle ride was because I was going through a phase where my energy levels were dropping. I don't deserve to stand in front of you and preach to you unless I practice what I'm saying. It's simple as that. I done a talk just before this cycle ride, and I felt like I had cheated the people that I was speaking in front of, because I was trying to motivate them to do better, and I thought, I'm not in the right state of mind myself. How can I preach to someone else if I'm not in the right state of mind? So during the course of my tour in India, that time, I had a meeting with somebody because we wanted to arrange cycle rides for our gyms across India. And these guys were quite egoistic. They said, oh, we've got a cycle ride coming up from Delhi to Mumbai, 1,450 kilometers. And they kind of spoke down to me with arrogance. Oh, this isn't for someone like you. This is for proper people, people who are committed. And I looked at this person and I thought, you're testing me. I said, put my name down for him. And he said, really? Well, this is how much it costs. We'll see when your payment comes in. I rang my office, told them to make the payment, got out of the meeting, and I rang Kris and said, Kris, guess what? I'm going to do a cycle ride. He said, Jack, are you sure about this? And he didn't say, don't do it, but I could just tell in his voice. He was like,
And he told me how many miles it was in like 7 days. Was it?
6 days.
6 days. It was insane.
I was in the worst state of my life, physically and mentally. And I could just tell with Kris, he was trying to tell me, Jack, are you sure? Like, yeah, I think you've taken on a little bit much on this one.
I would have done it.
But that's what I needed. The motivation that I had was that talk that I had just before, because I felt I had cheated the people that I was in front of. I need to be able to prove to myself that I deserve it. I always say to any of my teams that if you can't do your job to the best of your ability, you need to step down and let someone else do it. I want to always be above average. And if someone else can do my job better, then I deserve to step down and let them do their job better. But I'm not going to let that happen for as long as I can. I'll make sure that I want to be the best at what I do. This cycle ride had taught me so much. Every single day I was failing. I was in the worst emotional state of my life, literally in tears every day, couldn't move. I had injuries, ringing up Kris, hoping for some compassion. Ringing him up, Kris, on like the second day I said, I can't do this, I can't move. And he's like, Jack, are you fucking dead? No. Well, shut the fuck up and get back on the bike. You bastard. I need some love here. He's not giving none of it. But that is what helped me to go. I learn every single day. My mind is like an open book. You know, I'm always ready to learn from everybody. my security guards during this ride, they never speak. On the 4th day, I was ready to give up because I could barely walk. I had an abductor problem. I had every problem in the world. I was going through real extreme cold weather through the desert. I've never done this before. And I remember sitting there, my security officer was standing next to me, and I said to him, I said, you know what? I think I'm gonna quit today. And I need to get I need to get my flights booked because I need to get back to London. This guy never speaks, ever. He turned around and says, no sir, you're going to Mumbai, and you're going to Mumbai on your bike. He's got a voice. But that was my accountability. I was thinking, well, even these guys have got hopes of me. Like they are hoping that, yeah, you know, we want to see him win. That was all I needed to know. And from there onwards, I did it. You know, for me, there's a lot of athletes out there, amazing humans that are much fitter than me, have done triathlons, man of iron, lots of huge challenges. But for me, this had been the biggest challenge of my life, and I needed to finish. I had it in my mind that if I fail, then that means I will fail at everything in my life. That means that this was not important to me. I started this because I wanted to finish. That's how I train my mind. I always set myself tasks every single day so I can keep my mind motivated to know that, yeah, I'm going to finish strong. So the next time you ever come up with an excuse, just ask yourself one question. Do I want to be a winner? Or do I want to be a loser? That simple. You can be your own motivation. You don't need anyone else. And as long as you can train your mind to be in that state, you can achieve anything you want. I'm just a normal person from East London that was average one day. And I decided to make a change. It didn't take me 14 years to change. It took me a split second. But it took me 14 years to understand that if I make a commitment, I can make it happen. My name is Jag Chima. It's time to transform.
Did you mention how many miles that bike runs?
Kilometers, 1,450.
1,400. And you've been on one of those road bike saddles, right?